Dave Staublin here. Let's do some good math. We're going to show you how to graph inequalities, and we're going to do it frontwards and backwards. So there are a couple of different things here that I want you to notice. So this graph here is a number line. It's got an open circle, an arrow to the right. We got an open circle, arrow to the left, closed circle, arrow to the right, closed circle, arrow to the left. And what we're going to do is consider all the numbers that this arrow covers up. So for example, this arrow covers up all numbers that like 0, 1, 2, 3, and all the way to the right, so towards infinity. But it doesn't include -1 because it's open circle, but it includes numbers that are just bigger than that. So here's how we would write an inequality. So because there are many different numbers represented underneath this arrow, we're going to give a variable like x to this arrow, and then the circle is around -1, and here's what we're going to do. Do we want the numbers that are greater than or less than -1? Well, this arrow covers the numbers that are greater than -1. And because it's an open circle, it's greater than, it doesn't include the -1. Now, let's skip down here to this one here. This arrow is covering a whole bunch of numbers. So all of these numbers we're going to represent by a variable. Let's just pick m. And then the circle is over 0. And so now we have to do an inequality. We want this arrow covers all the numbers that are bigger than 0. So 1, 2, 3, and so forth. But because it's filled in, it also includes the 0. So there's an equal sign. Okay? Now let's look at this one. This arrow goes to the left. It covers a bunch of numbers. Let's call all those numbers be represented by y. The number in the circle is -1, and we want all the numbers that are less than -1. Let's go here. We need a variable to represent all the numbers that are underneath the arrow. Let's call it n. You can pick any variable. I picked n. Our number that's circled is 2, and we want all the numbers that are less than 2, less than or equal to, because that's filled in. Okay, so that's how that works. Let's do it the other direction. Let's say that we want all the numbers k that are greater than 2. So here's the process I'm going to do to graph this inequality. I'm going to find the number 2 and put a circle around it. See how there's not an equal sign? I'm going to leave it open. Now I want all the numbers that are greater than 2. So greater than is to the right. In fact, here we can use red so it stands out. Okay, let's do another one. Okay, m less than -10. So, oh, did you notice that this number line doesn't go by 1s, it goes by 5s? Yeah, you can do that. All right, I'm going to find -10, put a circle around it. It's not an equal, so it's not filled in. We want the m values, the numbers that are less than -10. Less than goes that direction. Okay? All right. N greater than or equal to 200. Well, again, look, here's a number line. It doesn't have a 0. It doesn't go by 1s. In fact, we see 100, 200, 300, 400, 500. The only thing that's really critical about number lines is that small numbers are on the left and they get bigger as you go to the right. All right, so I'm going to find 200. It's equal, fill it in. We want the numbers that are bigger than 200. Bigger is to the right. Okay, last one. P less than or equal to -30. Let's see. There's -30. There's equal sign, fill it in. We want less than, So it goes that way. Now, one more thing. I'm going to flip this over, and I'm going to use this example: p less than or equal to negative 30. Sometimes the inequalities will be written with the variable on the right side. So how do you deal with this? Well, let's see. There's my number line. I'm going to put negative 30, so I know the smaller numbers go to the left and the right. So we want p less than or equal to negative 30. So I'm going to find the negative 30. It's an equals. I'm going to fill it in. And you kind of have to read this backwards. You want p, the numbers, less than negative 30. So less than is that direction. Very tricky. This equation is the same as this. These are the same, except they're written from left to right and right to left. So when you read it, I would always start at the variable, and then p less than or equal to 30, negative 30, p less than or equal to negative 30. All right, with that being said, there's some problems that you can do. I think you're going to nail it. All right, talk later.